Okay, is Wall Street about to fall victim to a massive cyber attack? One of New York's top financial regulators is throwing around the word Armageddon.
Which is very scary. Fox 5's Allison Morris sat down with him to see what it's all about. Why is he so worried?
I don't know why they wouldn't be the biggest target on Earth. Makes sense to me.
Some big banks have already been targeted, of course.
And that's exactly why he's sending out this warning. Not that something is imminent, but kind of technically it is, because we have seen the banks running into trouble. Ben Lawsky runs New York State's Department of Financial Services, and he says that within the next decade, we could very likely see a Wall Street hack that is both big and bad enough to cause our next financial crisis.
What we worry about, and I think it's smart to worry about it, is a worst case scenario where there's a kind of a hack that causes the financial system to shudder.
It's a scary thought, but Ben Lawsky, New York's first superintendent of financial services, says we could be heading towards a massive cyber attack on our banks and insurers.
The sophistication and the seriousness of the attacks we're seeing all the time on the financial system and elsewhere are ever increasing. We saw Anthem, which is millions and millions of New Yorkers, and even more than that nationwide, impacted by that hack, which went on for something like 7 weeks before Anthem even detected that there were hackers in their system.
Lawsky says 2 changes on Wall Street could make a big difference. The first, making sure the third-party vendors that banks do business with are up to snuff.
What we're thinking about is requiring those vendors to provide much better cybersecurity, and you do that by making our financial firms get representations and warranties from those third-party vendors that their cybersecurity is up to a certain level.
And the bank's outdated password systems need an upgrade.
We need to go to a system of multi-factor authentication where, yes, you put your username and password in, but the system then sends you a second randomly generated at that moment password. Often it gets texted to your cell phone. So even though someone may have stolen your password, they also need to have your cell phone if they're going to be able to break into the system.
It's a relatively simple cybersecurity improvement that could help prevent a major banking disaster.
Let's make sure that the cybersecurity threat doesn't become the cause of the next financial crisis.
Now, Lawsky says the banks here in New York are certainly spending enough money on cybersecurity, but it's really time that we look at where that money is going. He says a lot of companies just focus on firewalls and keeping hackers out, but not what to do if and when a hack breaks through. He also says this is no longer just an IT problem. He believes that this should be on the agenda of every CEO of every major bank because it's a top issue.
It does seem like they still treat it like an annoyance, that they're annoyed they have to deal with, and they sort of go through the motions, then something terrible happens, and then they retroactively do what they should have done all along too late. So let's hope it doesn't come to that.
Those hacks cost a fortune.
And they run the risk of losing customers.
So,
I mean, this is serious.
I think we're going to see some big changes.
Good.